just gonna move this back up here. Yeah. Howdy, howdy. Ugh. Ugh. I just reminded myself what. Oh, hi, Quacka-Cola! Welcome! My goal is to finish sketching this comic page today and start on some of the inking, because my goal was to have at least one page per month. And this is the last WebComic Wednesday stream. No. I think next week is... Oh, which week? You know what? I'm not taking any weeks off right now. I'm not taking the last week off of the month because I already took some time off because my roommate was out of town. Anyway, my goal is to have at least a page a page a month done of my webcomic this year. And I just realized I have less than 2 weeks to finish this page on top of commissions and other stuff I need to get done by deadlines. I mean, I do have one project that's not due until the end of April. I'm sure I can put that off to the side for now and just like crank it. I mean, I'm feeling better than I did last week, because I think last week or Monday I cut the stream short because I wasn't feeling well. And I'm like, I'm still not feeling well. Thank you. The posing, it's one of my first big action scenes of the comic, so I'm so happy to have finally gotten to this point. I'm going to be so happy when I get done with this chapter, because then all the main cast will finally be together and I can actually start on the plot. I think this particular chapter of my comic has taken the longest out of all of the chapters I've done for my webcomic, because I got really ambitious with some of the backgrounds of this chapter and the setting, because I decided I was going to do really awesome backgrounds for this chapter, and then realized that it takes a lot longer to draw a background than it does to draw a person for me, so that's why these next set of pages I'm getting a little lazy with it, just because I want this chapter done so I can start on the next chapter. And like, my goal has always been, once I finish the first 4 chapters, I will start looking into getting it printed, because like 4 chapters feels like a good start to a first volume. Like yeah, 4 chapters is a good first volume, because like that's how manga do it, that's how a lot of other webcomic creators do it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll hit 4 and then I will I mean, the backgrounds on the other pages are kick-ass. They just take forever. I'm really looking forward to the next chapter being outside in the wilderness. So I don't have to draw buildings and perspective. Not that I did a lot of that. I used a lot of 3D models, but still, that also takes time. Like, I think it was recently where I was like, I was watching the Mighty Nine animated series on Amazon, and I really like how they did the backgrounds in that series. Listen, listen. I've done it. I purposely switched to doing vector line art in Clip Studio Paint so I can copy paste poses. Like if I'm doing a repeating pose, I just copy paste. Saves so much time. It scales well. So webcomics is all about working smarter, not harder. Especially when you ain't getting paid. I mean, I kind of low-key am. I do have a Patreon, but also... what was it? There's somebody I follow on TikTok, actually, and, like, they're pretty cool. They're, like, really into comics. They're getting a new, like, webcomic platform up and running that I'm looking forward / not looking forward. It's mixed bag. To, like, uploading Tale of Cain to that when it's, like, readily available, and I have time to sit down and do that, because I have to make PNGs of everything again, because those take up room on my my computer. Words, Leon. Words. So every so often I go through and I delete all my PNGs and my JPEGs, because like I still have the final raw file. So if I ever need to make another JPEG or PNG file, I can just do that. But this particular person has been doing like webcomic reviews and like critique. So of course I'm like, hey, can you review my stuff? You know, I've been working on it for 8 years. I'm about to finish this one chapter, and I would appreciate some feedback about how to tackle the next chapter. And they're like, yeah, sure. They read my 8-year-old first chapter as the critique. Didn't show any of the recent pages. Just showed a couple pages from the first chapter, and I'm like, that is not an accurate depiction of my work currently. I mean, I didn't pay them to do it, but I'm still just like, I'm pretty sure I was like, hey, can you review the most latest chapter? But whatever. And then on top of that, their biggest thing in critique was like, hey, you have this in page format, not scrollable format, and you're putting it on Webtoons. It should be a scrollable format. And I'm sitting there thinking, it will be scrollable if fucking Webtoons pays me for it to be scrollable. I am not converting a page layout for print, which is what this is meant to be, is for print. I'm not converting that to scrollable because it didn't change. I did that for a chapter. It didn't change anything. I didn't get more views. I didn't get more readers. I'm like, I'm not putting in the extra work to make it scrollable. I read both formats of webcomic. I read page and I read scrollable. If I like it, I'm going to read it. Format doesn't matter to me. So... what I do care about is if your art's decent and your story's not dumb. That's it. Like... well, that's the thing, because like there's other comic artists that I follow on TikTok where one of them, he did the branching out webcomic on Webtoon. So it was a Webtoon original and it was scrollable. And then... and then, like, now he's trying to, like, make that into, like, an in-print comic book now that the run finished. And they're like, I can't, like, the way you make comics for Webtoon is inherently different from how you make them for print. And I'm like, yeah, it's a different medium. It's a different format. Things are done differently. And then I have another friend who is also working on a new comic of his, and like we also got into the whole like we will make a scrollable comic over our dead bodies unless we're getting paid a shit ton of money to do so. I never really got into Homestuck when it was super popular when I was in high school. A lot of my friends were really into Homestuck, but it just didn't click with me. I think it's because it was like the interactive game-like essence of that first chapter from what I recall. Like, I didn't like it. And I'm like, I don't want my webcomics to be interactive. I want them to be comics. Oh, hey, Dragon Dusk! Welcome, welcome! Thank you for the raid! Dang, everyone's coming in tonight. Here I am being like, I have to get this done, and I'm just yapping. Good evening! What'd you guys work on during your stream today? Something fun, I hope. Ooh, hidden object games are fun. Ooh, that sounds really fun. I've got to get back to playing Date Everything. Maybe after my next show at the start of April. Yeah, it's a new model. Thank you. I made it for this year because I like to change out my little PNG/VTubers very frequently. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. Good luck. My first show of the year, I did a small college convention in the city, and it was a lot of fun. I had a good time, but I was also like fighting a cold, and like I didn't sleep well the night before. So I think it was just the anxiety of first show of the year. It's not uncommon for me to like have a hard time sleeping before anything big. And then I also had made the mistake of drinking an energy drink while I was dealing with trembles. So I didn't die, obviously. It just was not a good time. But I had like one of the organizers of that show actually came by my booth and said the reason why they let me in is because they really liked one of my Critical Role prints. Yeah, I accidentally gave myself minor heart palpitations and was reminded why I don't drink energy drinks. I was just so tired and I had it with me and I'm like, well, maybe this will help. And then I was chatting with some people over Discord and they're like, no, that is not gonna help. And I'm like, well, it's halfway gone. YOLO, I guess. I'll let you know if I die. Yeah. critical role stuff that tends to do pretty well. I have a lot of it. I actually need to get started on some campaign 4 stuff. No! Go take care of yourself. Recharge. Prepping for a show is nuts. Have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, so I just relearned the lesson of I can't have energy drinks, unfortunately. But that morning, prepping for that show, like getting up to go, like drive down to the city to set up for that show, it was like new anxiety symptom side effect unlocked with those tremors. It was... Oh shoot, I have the game night next week too. Okay. Okay. Man, March has just flown by. Well, like, I've stayed away from Monster, Red Bull. So the energy drink I had was a V8 energy drink. Which I've had a couple of times, in the past. But I just think, like, my anxiety, apparently anxiety can trigger muscle tremors. I learned that. And I'm like, I might actually need to see a doctor about this because I can't. This can't happen. This sucks. So, yeah, that was fun. It was a fun new quirk I unlocked about my generalized anxiety. Like, I woke up and I'm like, this sucks. I hate this. And I Googled it. I'm like, can this happen? And Google was like, yup. And I'm like, shit. So, you know, I've had this anxiety diagnosis since I was a kid. I haven't really ever taken medication for it. But it's so much, sarcastically, it's so much fun learning about a new way my body fucks with me. So, was it, I think last year, I was flying out to Florida to visit family, and I had a fairly early flight. I had like a 7 a.m. flight, because I travel solo, and I'm like, I'm okay with getting at the airport at 5 a.m. That's fine. I'll just, like, get breakfast there, and... Oh, wait, there's no shoe on that foot. I'll fix that real quick. And I think my Lyft or Uber wasn't gonna be here to pick me up until, like, 4:30 in the morning to get me to the airport in time, like, by 5, and I woke up at 2 a.m. because I was anxious. And it was a very long day. I was like, oh, I'll just get some sleep on this plane. That didn't happen. There was a lot of turbulence on the flight into Florida. And then, when I got to Florida, I was a little busy because I was like helping prep for a birthday party, and I was, you know, like chit chatting with family, and I'm like, at one point, I think it was around like 4 or something in the afternoon, Florida time. So I'd been up for over 15 hours without like any naps. And I'm like, if I want to survive and I want to be functional for the birthday party tomorrow, I need to sleep. I need to go take a nap. So then, like, I was trying to sleep on, like, my sister's couch, but it was just too chaotic. So I ended up going to, like, the guest room where I was staying, and, like, I passed out for, like, an hour, woke up completely discombobulated. Low-key forgot where I was. I was so scared and confused when I woke up. I'm like, wait, what happened? Where am I? What time is it? And then my brother and his girlfriend had a delay getting in. Because they were coming in later, which was fine. But, like, I wanted to stay up to say hi to them, like. But then, like, I was like, I can't stay up anymore. I need to go to bed. And as soon as I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed, they're like, oh, hey, they just landed. We're gonna go pick them up. I'm like, I can stay up for a little while longer. I can do it. But I did finally book a hotel for I think my first big show of the year in Indianapolis. I'm tabling at Indie PopCon or PopCon Indie, however you say it. I'll be tabling there. I finally booked my hotel room last night, and I'm like, ouch. Ugh, yeah. Yeah, it's... So, it was a fun trip. Luckily, the flight back was, like, a later time. So, like, I think my flight was, like, 5 o'clock or so at night. So, I didn't have to, or, like, 7 o'clock at night. So, I didn't have to get to the, airport till, like, later. And I do have to say, the Jacksonville airport's very nice. Yeah, I hope it's... I'm so nervous, because it's going to be my first, like, actual big out-of-state multi-day convention. Because, like, I've done small, like, 2-day markets up in Wisconsin. Which I'm like, oh, that's, like, one night. Which is swingable. But, I think I booked 4 nights for PopCon Indie. Because I'm driving, the plan is to drive down on Thursday so I can set up. So I have to stay until Friday. So it's Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Because I'm like, if I try to drive home from Indianapolis after working an entire convention and after teardown, I'm probably not going to get home till about midnight. And that just doesn't sound safe. So I figured I'm just going to get a hotel room and like stay at the hotel through Sunday night. And drive back on Monday. Because I'm like, I'm going to be exhausted either way. I'm taking that day off of work either way. So I might as well do the safer way. I'm hoping, knock on wood. Because the last thing I need right now financially is to like... burn thousands to work a show that I don't make any money on. I did that last year. I don't want to do it again. Alright. Because I think... Because, like, last year, I did a small gaming convention in my area. Well, it was more up in, Milwaukee, but, like, the organizations from my area, like, a lot of my IRL people know these organizers, so I went in being like, oh, this is gonna be a big show, like, a fairly big show. Like, you know, it's partially for charity, but, like, I'll be here, I'll be selling my stuff, and, like, I was one of 2 vendors. Yeah. And I was shoved in the back of a gaming hall. So, like, a ballroom where people just went in to play board games. And honestly, nothing sucks more to sit in a room with like 100 or so people in there and be completely ignored. So, I'm like, that was the worst show I've done. If I don't have a show like that again, that'll be great. Not really, no. And, like, the people who I did get coming to my table were like, we didn't even know, like, there were people, like, they had vendors this year. Like, they had no idea. And I'm like, are you... What? Like, we had no idea you were in here. And I'm like, ugh. I mean, I was honest with one of the showrunners. Right? And the thing is like, I was, so like, what happened was, like, I applied, they're like, hey, you got in. I'm like, cool. They didn't give me any deadline to, like, select my table set up and pay for it. I'm like, okay, my next paycheck, I'll do it. So, get my next paycheck, I go to, like, select my table, and I can't. So then I have to email the guys being like, hey, is your website broken? I can't, like, grab my spot. And then they're like, oh yeah, well, we had to have the floor plan into the venue by such and such date. And I'm like, okay, but you didn't even give me, like, a week. I'm like, if that was so important, you should have said so when you told me I got in. And so, like, I was under the impression that, like, there was going to be a lot of vendors, because I'm like, oh, if the tables went so quickly that I couldn't even get a single table, I had to pay for a like, an L cap, basically. I had, like, 3 tables. I had to pay for 3 tables. I'm like, oh, wow, if this is the only one that's left, there must be a bunch of other vendors. No, there was one other vendor, and, like, someone else promoting their own convention. So, like, someone was selling, like, etched glassware and, like, dice bags, and I was selling my art, and I'm like, this is it? I paid hundreds of dollars for this? I booked a hotel for this? And it didn't help that there was, like, Pokemon regional tournaments happening that exact same weekend. Not me sitting in my hotel eating breakfast, watching all these Pokemon people with their plushies and stuff, all excited, and not me thinking, I'm like, man, if I got in a table there, I would be making bank right now. Okay. Yes, it's sketched. Good. Save. Okay. Yeah. And the funny part is that someone I knew from high school was at the Pokemon regionals, which I'm not surprised. I think they were pretty competitive in the video game battles back when we were in high school. And I managed to beat them once because I got lucky. But yeah, it was just a bad time. And then I think there was another show I did last year. It wasn't as bad as that one, but there was a No Kings protest going on the same day as the big day of that market. So we're like, well, it happens. That's equally as important. Okay. I need to get the magic circle off the last page. I do like working the shows despite the fact that I get hella stressed before and during them, depending on how well they go. Because the one I did a couple weeks ago, that one wasn't too bad because the table was free. It was only a 1 day, so it wasn't like I was losing much doing it. Wait, where's page 33? Right, like, there's this one punk show in my area that I did last year. It really does seem that way, because I'm also like, not only do we low-key have to compete with each other, we have to compete with AI slop and 3D printed garbage on top of it. Like, I don't see other artists as competition per se, but it's also like, we're also after the same $20. You know? Like, you'll never catch me, like, gatekeeping my, like, who my manufacturers are, how I make things. I will talk to you about who I use as, like, my backup printer when mine's being a butthole and I can't figure out how it works. Or, like, I've run out of ink and I don't have money to buy more ink, but I can place an order real quick. So, like, oh, there's this one artist I follow mostly on YouTube because he's got some pretty good stuff about, like, artist alleys and everything. But he's also, like, a career artist. Like, he makes bank doing artist alleys. Like, he's like, oh, this was a low-performing con for me. It was only $20,000. Yeah, it is, Inkwell. Inkwell. Yeah, it's Inkwell. He's great. He's got good info, but I'm like, dude, like, you... he's great. He's got good insights and everything, but also, like, part of me is like, I kind of don't want to hear about how like, $20,000 income was a bad performing convention for you when, like, my first ever convention, I didn't even crack $2,000 and I thought, like, hey, I paid for my hotel and table. That's pretty good. Like, I wish I would have, like, maybe researched a bit more about, like, how much quantity to order my first ever convention, because I ordered so much of some stuff that has not moved. Like, I have this, Sandman print. It's a foil print. It's 11 by, I think it's 11 by 14 or 11 by 17. It's my big ticket item. And, like, I've maybe sold a handful. Listen, I think the other week when I did the, like, one college convention that was free, I was like, hey, if I just make back gas and parking, I'll be happy. Like... Oh god, I hope so. Like, I have to say, one of the most discouraging things, I know it's not, like, anyone's fault in particular, but, like, when I, like, design a new product or do new art and everyone gets so excited, like, everyone I show gets so excited for it, and they're like, oh my god, this is gonna sell like hotcakes, oh my god, it's gonna be so, everyone's gonna love it, and you sell nothing of that thing, it's so disheartening. That's why I try not to have any expectations. I'm like, I just make art that I think is neat, and I hope somebody also thinks it's neat, and they'll spend their money on it. I have to be so low-key about how invested I get in, like, my art business, because I'm like, if I get too into it, if I get too invested, I'm going to break. I'm going to have a bad time. Like, I want it to do well, but a lot of what happens is outside of my control, so I can't stress too much about it. Because, like, a couple years ago, I did these little gingerbread themed, like, I did a gingerbread cookie goblin and, like, D&D weapons as ornaments, and they're really cute. They turned out really good, and, like, everyone in, like, my circles was like, oh, these are gonna sell really well, they're so cute, everyone's gonna love them. No one even looked at them. And then this year I decided, last year I decided, because I have these winter cardinal prints that are like male female cardinals, female cardinals, male cardinals. So they're like, they actually have the correct feather colors for the sex of the bird. So, like, the female looks like a female cardinal. And, like, super popular. The print was super popular when I first, like, debuted it. And I'm like, awesome, cool. So this past Christmas season, I was like, I'm gonna, like, scale down the art and simplify it so it looks good on an ornament, like an acrylic ornament. And, like, I'll sell those as, like, as an option, like another thing at this holiday market that I do. And yet again, everyone's like, these are so cute, they're gonna sell well. I get to the market, oh, I maybe sold a handful. And I'm just like, I ordered like 20 of, like 15 of each of these. Like, I did the smallest order possible I could from Zap Creatives. So I'm thinking this next year, if I get into that Christmas market again, I'm like, I'm not gonna do any more big ticket items. I'm like, I'm gonna try and get rid of what I have. Because, like, I'm like, 2 years in a row, I've tried doing ornaments and no one wants the ornaments. So I'm like, I'm not gonna invest money in that anymore. I mean, the prints went over well. Like, my mom bought one of my aunts bought one. I think my aunt bought 2. So, like, my Senshi soup print didn't sell at that college convention. And I'm like, but this one, I got a lot of compliments on it, and I'm just like, can you buy it? Please? Please buy it. I'm begging. Not begging. Oh, I have plenty of ornaments and prints. Because with the cardinal prints, that's a fun story. The year I debuted those, I ordered from Cat Print. And, like, I was a little behind schedule. I didn't get the order in as quickly as I wanted to. So I had to, like, I did 2-day shipping to, like, make sure it would get to me in time before the show. Because I'm like, I have to travel, like, 2 hours up to Wisconsin for this show. I can't, this has to be here latest, like, Thursday night. So I aimed for Wednesday, and then, like, the package didn't show up, so I had to contact my printer, being like, hey, so I paid for, like, 2-day delivery. It's, like, a day past the delivery day. It's not here yet, and I really, really need these for my upcoming show. And Cat Print's great. Cat Print is amazing, because they're like, oh my god, we're so sorry. We'll send you a duplicate print, like a duplicate run, next day air, no additional charge. And they're like, if the other stuff comes in, just keep it. And I'm like, awesome, cool, thank you, you're the best. This is why I recommend you to everybody, because, like, they're amazing. And then, both packages showed up on the same day. So I ended up with twice as much stock as I wanted. Like, I purposely only ordered, like, 10 of each of the cardinal prints when I first got them done. When I did it, because I was like, I don't want to order too much. It's a seasonal print, so I don't want to have too much lying around my house. Only for it to get delayed, I end up with twice as much as I wanted anyway. Which is fine. I didn't have to restock this year. I made it work, but I was like, Alright. Honestly, Shrimpy, I don't know why no one wanted the Senshi soup. It's whatever. Honestly, the Senshi soup print was more for me. I did that because I wanted to draw it. Because I thought it was funny. And also because, like, Senshi's my favorite character of Dungeon Meshi, so... Yeah, I gotta update my Etsy shop with some of my new wares anyway. I'm just not good with keeping up on that. I mean, when I update my shop, it's in, like, a big batch. Because, like, I don't really have a good spot I can readily take product photos. So it's like a whole setup for me, and I like to just do batch photos and videos for socials and everything. That way I only have to like take product photos once. Cause like taking product photos is like, oh, I gotta like put the cats in jail. Jail is just the sewing room because I use a big white blanket as my backdrop, and they're like, ooh, big white blanket. That means I can lay down on this and take a nap. And I'm like, no. It should be. It's just I have to like make time to do it. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of that. That'll have to do. That's always the trick, because I like a nice, slightly overcast day, so I don't have to worry about glare. But yeah, the pets are definitely a factor in how efficiently that stuff gets done, because I have to bring all the stuff upstairs and then set it up, and then there's the wrangling of the 3 cats of the household, and then there's the dog who likes to steal stuff. So because my workspace for my art is in the basement, so not really great lighting right now. And I'm not really interested in investing in like a nice photo / lighting rig right now. Hey, listen, I rent a basement for like 500 flat a month. Okay, I'm not complaining. It's a lot more space than the 1 bedroom I was renting a couple years ago for the same price. So I'll take what I can get. I look forward to the day when I can afford my own, like, at least 2-bedroom apartment so I can have my art space be separate from my bed space for once. Like, during the pandemic, I was living in my previous living situation. So many days, it was just me waking up, rolling out of bed to go 2 feet to my desk and just draw. That was most of like 2020 for me, when I didn't have the occasional shift at my gas station job at the time. So yeah, I look forward to the day where I can actually have like a studio space and I can like spread out more. But cost of housing in my area is crazy, so that's not happening anytime soon. And I got a pretty good setup here. My roommate and I get along really well and everything, so it's not like I'm in a huge rush to move out, but yeah, right now I'm low-key job hunting for a higher paying job so I can, like, pay off some, like, get my feet back under me. So, a lot of big expenses and surprise expenses this past year, so I'm like, I need to look for a better paying job. I think I should have those going a different direction. Hold up. Just gonna quickly change those. There we go. That looks better. Oh, wrong layer. Yeah, I've already started thinking about how I'm going to tackle chapter 5 workflow wise, and I think moving forward, like after this chapter, because I want to keep this chapter fairly consistent art style wise, but I'm thinking with the next chapter, I'm just going to do flats unless there's like magic on the page. Like I'm not going to go super into shading and highlights and everything. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep it simple. We'll see how it goes. I think the chapter 5 is going to be finished is better than perfect. More so than this chapter's been, because that's also been the motto of this chapter's finished is better than perfect. But I'm also like, I gotta do these like super intense backgrounds. the next one's definitely going to be more of like, just get it done. Just get it done. Oh, I forgot to draw her ruffles. Hold up. Well, mostly because I would like to apply to Spider Forest to have my web for Tale of Cain to get onto that network of, or that like collection of web comics, but they have a 1 update per week minimum preference. And considering I can barely get a page done a month right now, I'm like, I need to do something. Like, I still want to get in. I want to apply, but I'm like, I can't do it this year. So my goal is to try to apply next year. But I'm like, that means I got to get page production up somehow. And if I got to cut the corners of like shading, then I'll cut that corner. Okay, there we go. Got that on there. There we go. Hey, kitty! Welcome, welcome! It's going. I'm inking. If I have a D&D game this weekend, I can probably work on this. There we go. Oh, DMing is... Okay, DMing is quite the hill to get over, but as someone who DMs, it's a lot of fun. I also disclosed to my players, being like, hey, I slapped this together in 2 minutes because I got busy. Try not to die. Have fun. I mean, DMing is hard. Which is why I only DM one game right now. I don't have the bandwidth to do another. I got a friend who's a DM for my Spelljammer group where he runs two groups, 2 different games. And I'm just like, could not be me. I only have bandwidth for one. Though, to be fair, I have at least... Yeah, DMing, yeah, if you want to try DMing, do one-shots. That's how I started. I started with one-shots, I did a couple one-shots, and then I did a small 10-session campaign, and now I'm doing, like, a much larger campaign. And granted, the campaign I'm running is heavily based off of a Final Fantasy game I played as a young teenager. I'm running a game that is basically Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles from the GameCube. I copy-pasted that bitch into D&D. did you also play Crystal Chronicles? Really? Because I swear it was like my brother, my siblings and I are the only ones I know in real life, except for like maybe one or two other people, and that like that's amazing. Yeah, so I played a lot of Crystal Chronicles when I was in high school, because when I was in middle school, I bought the GameCube, and this lady we knew gave us basically her brother's entire collection. So she gave us this giant Ziploc bag of a bunch of the GameCube discs, and Crystal Chronicles was in there, and it was my favorite game out of all of the ones that came out of that bag. And then I tried talking about it with my friends at school, and they're like, what are you talking about? So it wasn't until very recently where I found more people who played it, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not alone. Thank God. Because, like, I did buy the HD remake they ported for the Switch. I haven't really been able to sit down to play it. It's in the standard loop I have when it comes to video games, where if it has specific combat controls, I forget how the controls work, so I start a new game. And then, so I can relearn the controls in, like, a safe environment, and then I stop playing, and I forget how the controls work, so I have to start all over again. I've also done that with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I had a save file for Breath of the Wild that I had, like, at least 100 hours in. And I didn't touch it for 2 years, so I restarted. Because I didn't know how to play the game anymore. Oh, that sounds like so much fun. Okay, now I want to start making time to play that game again. Like, I remember the first time I played that game on the GameCube back in the day, and I still have my GameCube. It's not hooked up to anything right now, but I still have my GameCube. And, I remember just, like, I really liked how they had a short-haired female protagonist option. Oh yeah, I'm very much, I hold on to all of my game systems unless they're, like, broken. I have one of my brother's old Game Boy SPs lying around here. I have an original gray Game Boy lying around here somewhere. Or I sent that back to my brother. Don't really remember. But I have my DS Lite. I still have my 3DS. My original DS broke. No. Yeah, it did break. And my original Game Boy SP broke, which is how I ended up with an original DS. But, and then, like, I've got my Switch. I would like to get a Switch too. But there's no rush on that because Wind and Waves doesn't come out till next year, so I'm good there. I can get this big complicated panel inked before the end of stream. I'm gonna be so freaking happy because everything else will be so much simpler. I was flipping to my eraser too quickly. I dropped my stylus. Okay. There we go. I'm glad you're having a good time, Shrimpy. I mean, you're built for sass. Goddamn. Do her armor again. Okay, that's how. Okay. Alright. That. Oh, almost forgot one of her hands. It's like, alright, got that inked, and then I noticed I forgot a hand. There we go. Sure, usually once the sketching is done, inking goes pretty dang quick. I'm also being a bit looser with it, because I'm like, if it's loose and a little sloppy, it might indicate how chaotic this scene is. Okay. Hi, Danimal. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the lurk. hydrate. That's a good idea. Ugh. Thank you for the redeem. The Nuzlocke's probably going to be on hold for a little while longer, because I think this Friday is going to be working on Pokemon art cards again, so I have more for PokeCon. Because that's coming up pretty dang quick. Let's see. I think this week so far I've done Igglybuff, Helioptile, and there's a dude I did today. Oh, I did Skidoo today. Because I did 2. I sketched 2 yesterday because Igglybuff was really easy, so I did another one and I did a Helioptile. Yeah, because I've been randomly, so I use random Pokemon generator, and I will randomly generate a Pokemon, and then I draw it on like one of my little art cards. My art cards tend to do really well at shows, so I figured it's like something relatively quick and easy. I can whip up for like a Pokemon convention, because like PokeCon's only one day, but I have also been looking into doing some more of the card shows in my area, because I went to one a couple a month or so ago with one of my cousins, and like they had like artists there like selling stuff, and I'm like, oh, like this could be another possible avenue of revenue for me. Because typically they're only like one day and they're relatively inexpensive to get into. To make that thicker. So, I mean, if it's like I think the only ones I've passed over, there's been a few Pokemon I haven't drawn that were generated by the generator, because they were either like a starter. Yeah, so I have to like actually like text the guy who organizes the series of um art or card shows in my area, and like message him and be like, hey, I'm interested in like tabling, and like maybe I can just like, depending on what shows I get into, I can try and fill in like at least one weekend every other month or something with one of those shows, because like depending on how expensive they are to get into, sort of thing, might determine how often I do them. Yeah, I've got quite like, and it's one of those things where like I could get away with only bringing like a fraction of my usual stock with me. Like I could just bring my Pokemon prints and pins. So like it could be a really quick setup for me. And like maybe just have like the option for like on-site quick little art card commissions. Because one of the show I went to with my cousin, there's this guy there who does like resin 3D printed Pokemon figurines, and like they look like glass because of the finish he puts on them. Like I think I walked up to his booth and I looked at his stuff. I'm like, hey, do you like, what kind of resin do you use to print these? And he's like, oh. And he's like, you can tell? And I'm like, yeah, you don't have the like layer lines other 3D printed stuff does. Yeah. I mean, I'd be lying if I said if I wasn't tempted to pick up one of the Absol figurines. But it was $40. And I'm like, I can't really justify spending $40 on a figurine right now. Like, they look, at first glance, they look like they're, like, glass. But, like, I know what glass looks like up close because I've worked with glass before. Oh, yeah, they're really cool. But, like, at one point, the guy was, like, talking shop with me, like, how his process goes. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm rambling. I'm like, no, continue to ramble. I want to hear how you make these. Because, like, part of... Like, I like talking to other artists about, like, the art they make and their process. Because it's... A lot of artists are very, like, being an artist can be very isolating, and not a lot of people, like, in your direct vicinity really know what you're talking about. So I'm very much like, no, I want to hear you ramble on and on about how much detail and work you put into the sequence on Taylor Swift's skirt in this comic book cover. Please tell me. Exactly! I want to meet other artists. Especially when I do the more local stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm not alone. It's really nice. Like, I have to still submit the application, but, I'm in an art club in my hometown, and we're, gonna get a booth at our local Pride Fest this summer. Because we were talking earlier this year, or late last year, about how, like, I wouldn't mind tabling again. It's just I don't like outdoor shows, because setting up a tent is a lot of work, and then there's the weather factor, and I'm like, it's just a lot of work for one person, and I'd have to buy more weights and everything, and I don't want to buy more weights right now. And then someone else was like, oh, I've done like plant shows. I have like a tent with all the weights that meet the ordinances, and I'm like, oh, maybe we can just like get a booth together. We each we each get a little spot in like this 10 by 10 space, and we can split the like application fee and everything. So I have to still submit the form for that. It's just that event charges up front, so I don't have the money for that right now. So yeah, we just needed someone who has like a business account, quote unquote, to like submit the application, just in case we need to like apply for a peddler's permit. That's the thing, is like I like the 1 year so far I did this Pride Fest. It was super windy, and my stuff was going everywhere because I have prints, pins, and stickers. So my pins are staying pretty stable, but my pins or my prints and stickers were getting blown all over the place. And I was so tired and sore by the end of it. I remember getting home and my roommate's like, how'd it go? I'm like, it was fine, but like it got really windy and my stuff kept getting blown all over the place, and it was just really stressful. And then having to take down a tent by yourself is a pain in the ass. So, and then last year there was a schedule conflict where I was working a different Pride festival or Pride market. And I'm like, this is a 2-3 day event for the about the same cost as a 1 day event. I'm like, I'm gonna go with the 1 day event for sure. So but this year, the two events the Pride Fest and the Pride Market that I plan to apply to are on 2 different weekends. So I'm like, oh, I can do both. Great. Am I probably gonna hate myself working 2 different markets, 2 weekends in a row? Probably, but I gotta make that money. Alright. I'm just gonna make these white for now. Actually, hold up. I'm just gonna do these in green. I really want it to be worth it. Like, nothing sucks more than like working a show, dedicating your very limited free time to do something, only for it not to be worth it in the long run. You know? Though the nice thing is now is that one of the nice things is my brother's girlfriend is getting into doing art markets and conventions out in California. And I'm just like, oh my god, I have someone I can talk to about what I do. outside of my day job at family gatherings. Like, I have someone I can talk shop with. This is great. Like, we can get into the nitty-gritty of it, and I'm like, oh, I look forward to those conversations. Oh, shoot. I just realized what time it was. God damn. I did it! It's all inked! We did it! Woo! I lost track of time for a couple minutes there, but I got it done! Which means I can transfer this file to my laptop and I can work on it on my laptop now. Because I try to keep... When I start the inking, at least, I like to keep it on the same device because my tablets... My two tablets are slightly different from each other in, like, how things work. And I know it's probably not super noticeable, but I'm like, I just want to keep the line art consistent on the page. So if I started on my laptop, I finish the line art on my laptop. If I started on the desktop, I finish the line art on the desktop. Just so it's consistent on that page. But yay, it's inked. All right. Let's see who we're raiding into tonight. Alright. Let's see. Dude, see if anyone I'm following is up. Ooh, a couple of people. We're gonna raid into my buddy Emiru. They're playing Dead by Daylight. Alright. I will be back on Friday with the Pokemon art card stream. Thank y'all for coming today. We'll be back again on Friday with the Pokemon art cards I've been working on. I will see you then. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely night. Stay hydrated. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see y'all soon.